think the interesting thing behind HOK and the way it approaches its design, it's very client-centric in terms of what we look at. And perhaps more importantly, there's a diversity in terms of our portfolio of work, that we are not only in one or two different sectors. And that was at the outset of the founding of the firm, of the three original partners. That was one of the original tenets, that you would, rather than focus on one or two market sectors, focus on several market sectors, because at one point in time, depending on what the economic winds would blow your way, you could be up or down, and as a result of that, our diversity is very much our strength in terms of how we've approached it. Also, there probably isn't a building type that HOK hasn't worked on, whether it's an airport, whether it's a lab, whether it's housing, whether it's government and institutional work. We've done a lot of historic preservation work within London as well.
Tall buildings are not the answer to anything other than the minds or the dreams of some architects. Tall buildings don't increase density, they're further apart, unless of course you can put them as close together as they do in Hong Kong, where you can shake hands between balconies. They alienate classes of people, the ones that are at the top of the tower and the ones that are condemned to wandering around the spaces in between. It's Fritz Lang's Metropolis all over again.
Density does not equal towers, and it doesn't. There are a number of cities in the world that have proven that wrong, London being one of them. When you look at a city like Barcelona in terms of the density and in terms of the urban fabric within a city like Barcelona, is a tremendously positive element. HOK, and we work with our colleagues over at Arup, we're hired to do the World Fair master plan in Dubai, which was literally creating a new destination. And with that, the World's Fair, the mandate is that after 6 months, all the pavilions and everything on the site, in essence, has to disappear. Dubai took a different tack to that. And it was, what can we actually look at from a legacy point of view first? So what will this place be after an event like the World's Fair?
I guess our thinking is, if we can research deeply and really understand city challenges, then you can start to respond to them, albeit that it may only be at a site-specific level. I guess the benefit we have on the London estate, and to a degree at Bermondsey, where it's a 12-acre site, is that we do have this contiguous ownership, which obviously then enables you to do other things. You have access to those spaces between the buildings.
So we started with how do we recreate some of those medieval street patterns? How do we provide new public spaces? Because whilst Oxford is a beautiful city and it has some amazing spaces, unfortunately they're not accessible. They exist in college quads, and they're available to you if you rock up at the right time by appointment. We have created 2 major new public squares which will be open 24 hours a day, and which hopefully will be used by the city and by the good people of the city as opportunities for them to enjoy themselves and have fun and host events. So it's about integrating that.
In Southampton, it's been very much kind of an industrial area. City centre living hasn't been that popular, but given the pressure on housing, we're going to have to get people living in the city centre. So how do we make it an attractive environment? And retail alone isn't going to do that. It's great to cater for visitors and tourists to Southampton. That's very important. They bring an important contribution to our economy. But how do we make it attractive for people to live?
Cambridge is facing, well, we're delivering 20% growth in a historic city. You know, it's a huge challenge for us. And we've set out 4 principles, a quality charter, which helps to guide that. And that's around character, climate, connectivity and community. And those are the 4 principles. And I think they apply everywhere, and they apply across and into the future too.
In London, we're just about ready to commission the Crick Institute. And with that, this presents a tremendous opportunity for the city On the one hand, we've got the financial center in the city, we've got all the educational institutions in the city, and yet the research and development piece within the city to be consolidated amongst several institutions and trusts adds a pretty unique aspect to the city.
I'm positive and optimistic about London. London has survived plague and fire and bombing and financial catastrophes, and every time it's bounced back more strongly. The great thing about London is it's unplannable. I say that to somebody that spent a lifetime trying to plan it. I think London's too strong to be planned. It is a true world city. It's not an English city, it is the possession of the world.
I don't know how anyone could be pessimistic about the future of London. I think it's one of those cities that no matter what happens, it will never surrender to its fate. It will always find a way to reinvigorate itself and re-energize itself because frankly, that's what people like coming to London for, is because of that character trait within the London social scene. Everyone looks at London as a magnet for talent, and perhaps more importantly, as a thought-provoking urban environment that really does export that particular niche, if you will, worldwide.